from the depths of the vault. This is Eerie's Vault Live, your number one stream for the uncanny, the weird, and the unexplained. Good evening, everybody in the world, or good morning, or good afternoon, whatever it is, wherever in the cosmos you may be, and welcome. This is Eerie's Vault Live, and I am your host, Lehan Eerie. We will be opening up the phone lines in the second hour of the show tonight. So if you want to be on the show, you'll find out how to do that just a little bit later on. But of course, as always, let's begin first with a shout out to my lovely patrons. That's Baroque Lobster, Buster Piles, Todd Van Voris, Steadbot, Farson's Finest, John Douglas, Greg Russell, Gaynor Smith, E.J. Osborne, Emu Cat, Ramona Craighill, Ian Lewis, Pamela Peffer, Andrew Dewey, Keith Say. Oh, I scrolled far too quickly then. Where's Keith Say gone? There he is. Pill Collins, Rudolph Hooker, Ryan, John Diver, Mr. E, Craig McClellan, Zach T, Adam Mitchell, Sawboss, Gregory, Amanda McNeil, Natalie Leach, Catman, Chris Slee, Heather Maund Jones, Melv, Aaron Osborne, Ginger Ninja, Ben Hurl, Vincent Hegeland, Iron Bug, Paul Redruth, Baby with a Laser, Bizjidish 143, Jerry Shelton, Brian Henderson, Stu Graham, David Morris, Darren Jump, Henry, Louise Matthews, Johnny A, and Harry Webb 46. If there's been any very, very recent joiners and I have missed you, I apologize. Please make yourselves known in the chat today. Now, tonight I'm hopefully going to be joined by Andy Roberts, one of the most respected researchers in British ufology and Fortean studies. However, as you are all aware, my gremlins like to play tricks with me every now and then, and I seem to have sent the Zoom invite to nobody and have CC'd Andy in. I don't know how that works. Therefore, I'm not sure if he ever received it, so I have very quickly just sent it again whilst the introductory music was playing there. That Clifford Farnham White classic called Prophecy. That's the name of the theme of this show, by the way, Prophecy. So if you're out there, Andy, and you're wondering where on earth is this Eerie chap and when is he going to send me the link, my apologies. I have sent it now to the correct place. So I shall waffle on until Andy joins us. I actually saw Andy at a presentation at the last Lancashire Aerial Phenomena Investigation Society get-together, or aka LAPIS, where I foolishly, by the way, failed to take any real cash money with me. I don't these days. I don't know about you guys, but I don't carry cash anymore. I find I just don't need to. Everything I can do, I can just beep my phone and it pays for it. So, but at, get-togethers and things like that, it's a different scenario, isn't it? So if I'd taken some money with me, I would have relieved Andy of the majority of the books that he was selling there. And actually, it was Andy's presentation that put me onto the, what was her name? Cynthia, I've forgotten it. I did a video about it only recently. If anybody in the chat can remember what that was, please let me know. But it was through Andy's presentation that I found that out. So, who do we have in the chat tonight? Let's find out, shall we? bear with old Eerie here, please, because he's not very good with tech things. He is. He's just very tired. We have, well, obscured by the poll, several people. Let's look at the poll first. The tridactyl mummies of Peru. That's right. 24% of you so far, or 24%, think that they are the real deal. Alien bodies. 17% of you think they are fake as anything. 41% are just not sure. And 17% of you have said, the what? And yes, that's an absolutely legitimate reply, isn't it? So the tridactyl mummies of Peru. We shall talk about those. That will be my filler topic for tonight. Very interesting. I had lost interest until I watched a documentary about them about 2 or 3 days ago, which blew the subject wide open for me. But I will get to that later. I can see Fleur. Hello, Fleur. Fleur is the first person in my view of the chat here, because it's obscured by the poll, which is very annoying for me, of course. So if I can just log into this on my mobile, there we go. I can close that. And I can see at the top, oh, maybe Fleur was the first. Anyway, hello, Fleur. Dingley Dell, hello there, and welcome to you. Thanks for joining us this week. Cat's Life, hello again there. Welcome, Cat's Life, who says, a high aching, so I assume hidden by the poll is aching plums, I think. Welcome to you. Oh, yes, that is. Oh, I've managed to move it. Aching plums was just before Fleur there. We've got Stephen Truthseeker. Welcome, Stephen. James Glass. All the old gang are here, look, aren't they? Theme Queen, hello, Theme Queen UK, welcome. Carol is with us. Good evening, Carol. Welcome to the show. Darren Jump is here. Mike, hello, Mike. Mike Belshaw there. Man with a Pan. 9481 says, evening all. Good evening, Man with a Pan. Welcome to the show. Paul Williams, hi, Paul. Welcome. Buster's here. International Man of Underpants. Welcome to the show, Buster. And who else do we have? I don't like to miss people out. Sugar Sandwich. I've never had a sugar sandwich. Welcome to the show. Nice to see you. Or nice to see your, the chat thing of you. Now, I've just scrolled incredibly fast there and missed lots of things. There we are. Sugar Sandwich. Who else do we have? M's Steadbot. Hello, Steadbot. Welcome. Ian VY2PS. Good evening, sir. Welcome to the show. Ultra Mammoth. Gosh, that's a very good username. I like that. Hello, Ultra Mammoth. Welcome to Eerie's Vault Live. I hope you enjoy your stay. Oh, Sugar Sandwich has a cryptid story for us. Well, that does actually sound very interesting, and I am up for that, let me tell you. Hopefully, Mr. Roberts will join us. Hello, Johnny. Welcome to the show. Hopefully, Andy gets this email invitation, and I haven't just completely knackered this entire planned interview. I'm a person who doesn't really plan very well, it would seem. And I tend to leave things until rather the last minute, which is a terrible habit, of course. But, well, we can only be what we can be, right? So we shall keep the Zoom open for Mr. Roberts. If you don't know about Andy, he's probably best known for his long-term investigation into the Berwyn Mountains incident of January of 1974. It's a case that he approached not as a single unexplained event as such, but as a living story, one that was shaped by the witnesses, and then the media reporting, and then the folklore and the passage of time itself. He's a writer for Fortean Times. He's the author of numerous books on UFOs, modern myth and high strangeness, and he's a researcher whose work consistently asks a difficult but necessary question, I think, and that is not just what happened, but rather how do we come to believe what happened? And this was the angle, really, in his presentation that made me think, gosh, what an interesting guest that would be for Eerie's Vault Live. His research has made him a key voice in understanding how UFO cases evolve, and that's how facts, assumptions, and, cultural memory, I suppose we can call it, and people's expectation intertwine, and why that means that some incidents endure long after others fade away. Hopefully tonight, if Andy joins us, we'll get started with talking about Berwyn, evidence versus legend and all of that sort of thing. But until... I do hope I've sent the event invite to the right place. If not, then I shall have to waffle, and I shall have to apologise profusely to Mr. Roberts, shan't I? So, plenty happening in the chat here. I do hope you've had a jolly good week, by the way. Can you believe it's 2 weeks ago already since we were all last together? Doesn't that time fly? The days are long, but the years are short, it seems, lately. I think that's just how it goes, isn't it? That's maybe just me getting older. Who else have we got? Oh, Ian VY2PS says, what's the accent? That, Ian, is probably the biggest mystery of this universe. Andrea's with us. Hello, Andrea. Welcome to the stream. Dingley-Dale says, Leon, did I hear you say previously you had read some of the Haunted Skies series of encyclopedic books by John Hanson and Dawn Holloway? I don't think I have. No. Isn't Haunted Skies the same title as a film or a television series that I believe Buster might be trying to put me on to? Well, I haven't actually done so yet. I think that might have been called Haunted Skies as well, which may be where that came from. Yes, so Haunted Skies. No, I haven't read those. Would you recommend them? I think I'm up for some new books. I'm looking at my bookshelf here, and really, I've read all of these about 7 times each now. Bigfoot, books On the Track of Sasquatch here by John Green. I've got René de Hinden's book titled Sasquatch. I've got Sasquatch the Apes Among Us by John Green. I've got John Napier's Bigfoot. What else have I got? Arthur C. Clarke's Mysterious World book. I have a book called Yeti, actually, which is pretty good. Now, as I reach for it here, by Graham Hoyland. Found that rather interesting, actually. I can recommend that one. Raincoast Sasquatch by J. Robert Alley. Gosh, I have Thomas Steenberg's book, which I think is just called Sasquatch of Alberta or something. I've got the Bigfoot film controversy. I've got The Making of Bigfoot. I've got When Roger Met Patty. I've got The Loch Ness Monster, A Monstrous Conundrum. The Legend Meets Science by Jeff Meldrum. Giants, Cannibals and Monsters by Kathy Strain. Loads of Bigfoot books, because you know that's my thing, right? I love Bigfoot in general. But if you recommend that Haunted Skies, then certainly I shall take a look at it, because I have read all of those. And, you know, there's nothing really new comes out about Bigfoot anymore, which is probably one of the reasons that, as Steadbot has just elucidated in our chat, one of the reasons that I've switched my attention, suddenly, it would seem, to these tridactyl mummies. Now, Steadbot says the tridactyl mummies are a frustrating topic. Some documentaries claim there's evidence, while mainstream scientists claim they won't touch it. Problem is, mainstream science is driven by money. Of course it is. And the other problem, I think, Steadbot, which, do excuse me, which was staring me in the face all the way through the documentary that I was watching was that that chap, Jaime Maussan, was heavily involved, who I believe has been outed, I believe, as a hoaxer of other odd bodies found, possibly the Fiji mermaid, or there was some creature that was like half a squirrel and half a monkey or something glued together. I think Jaime Maussan was involved in that, and seeing him really did put me off. However, the CT scans, I'll talk about this properly, but the CT scans of these things, gosh, you know. James Glass says a guy paragliding over part of the Rocky Mountains captured a Sasquatch on his camera last week. Really? I would like a link to that, please, if possible. You could email me a link to that thing. Giant skeletons in the Smithsonian, says Cat's Life. Giants are a real thing, says Stephen. It's a good series of books, is The Dark Skies. Well worth the read. I shall do what I always do, and I shall say to you, I shall look that up, and then in 6 months' time, that might happen. It's just the nature of life, isn't it? But thank you for the suggestion. Giants still live inside mountains. Did anybody see the sequel to the Troll film? I think it's Norwegian or something like that. That was pretty good. I quite liked that. The Smithsonian was meant to have destroyed many giant remains. There is a sort of theory, isn't there, that locked away in some dusty museum drawer somewhere, there are glaringly obvious pieces of evidence lying around. I have an email that's come in. Perhaps this is our man Andy. It is not. Okay. I don't know if it's me that's done something wrong here or not. Steadbot, totally agree with you on both points. He's got a checkered history. He certainly does. And the scans and the DNA tests seem incredibly compelling. And have you seen, excuse me, dry air in the studio tonight. Have you seen the tridactyl? Let me take you through the tridactyl thing. All right, I'm going to have to read this from a website because I'm not particularly prepared. So, the tridactyl beings, as it were, tri meaning three, dactyl meaning, fingers and toes, I think, supposedly real discoveries that were discovered by grave robbers unnamed. So put a pin in that straight away. And in the arid expanse of Peru's Nazca Desert, famed for those ancient Nazca lines etched into the earth, a new mystery came forth that local legends whispered of these strange mummified beings unearthed near Nazca. Unlike any known human remains, these desiccated bodies had elongated skulls, which we've seen before, haven't we, in different cultures around the world. But these ones had only 3 long fingers on each hand and 3 toes on each foot, which has earned them the moniker tridactyl beings. Could this be evidence of an unknown chapter of history for human evolution, or perhaps even proof of extraterrestrial visitors, or is it simply an elaborate fraud? So that's sort of the ballpark that we are within with this. And I haven't made my mind up at all on this. The thing about them is, well, I mean, let's get into it. So in 2015, a set of bizarre mummies was discovered in a secret tomb near Nazca in Peru, this is. This discovery was made by local huaqueros, or treasure hunters, or frankly grave robbers, is what they've been referred to. And, according to Thierry Jamin, who was a French researcher and president of the Incari Cusco Institute, a tomb raider known by the alias of Mario led the group that extracted these specimens. These looters were from Palpa, a city in the Nazca region, and they had a long history of ransacking pre-Columbian ritual sites in the area. Deep in the desert, in caves or tombs that had frankly laid undisturbed for centuries, they found something unprecedented: these mummified bodies. When details of the first find emerged, it sounded like science fiction, really. One of the mummies, which was eventually nicknamed Maria, was an adult-sized humanoid corpse. So you may recall, it must be, gosh, I bet it's not quite a year ago now, but those very stick-thin sort of mummies that were unearthed and paraded around the news, and they were covered in that sort of diatomic earth, the sort of dusty covering that they had on them. Those things, which were tiny and they looked like dollies. Well, this one is about, 5'6" tall, and it was found in a crouched, seated position reminiscent of traditional Nazca mummy burials. It was wrapped in a white powdery coating, yes, but the anatomy was far from ordinary. She had an elongated skull, rising at the back, a small, delicate jaw, and large eye sockets. Most striking of all were the hands and feet, each with, of course, the 3 slender fingers or toes, grotesquely long, actually, and tipped with what appeared to be claws, which put me in mind of Black Annis, of course, the video that we had recently released on the channel. Maria was found in this position, and nearby was a little bundle which was identified as a 9-month-old infant mummy, endearingly called Vavita, Wawita, actually, that will be. It won't be Vavita, will it? It'll be Wawita. And several smaller adult mummies, all about 2 feet in height, with similarly elongated heads and 3 fingered extremities, all of them. In total, 5 or 6 mummies comprised the collection: Maria, the infant, Wawita, and a cluster of diminutive, seemingly male beings. It was a tableau as eerie as it was fascinating. News of these Nazca mummies remained pretty much hidden for a time, known only to the discoverers and a few intermediaries. Fearing confiscation and probably legal action by the authorities, because trafficking in archaeological remains is illegal, the Huaqueros initially kept this prize secret. However, rumours of a potential non-human discovery began to leak by about 2017, and the first images and x-rays of these 3-fingered mummies found their way to the public, and they ignited an international wave of curiosity and speculation. The Peruvian tomb robbers had quietly sold, or perhaps donated, the mummies to a group of investigators and enthusiasts, setting in motion a strange saga at the intersection of archaeology and ufology. In mid-2017, these mummies burst into public view through a documentary series on Gaia.com, actually. It was titled The Unearthing Nazca. It presented high-definition footage of these strange mummies and followed a team of self-proclaimed experts as they examined the remains. Among the early investigators was Jaime Maussan, a well-known Mexican journalist and UFO enthusiast, as well as researchers from Peru and Russia and elsewhere. Excuse me. The Gaia videos showed the mummified bodies undergoing X-ray and CT scans with solemn narration, suggesting that these could be evidence, physical real evidence, of a previously unknown species, perhaps even aliens. One of the central figures in the investigation was Dr. Konstantin Korotkov, introduced as a professor from St. Petersburg in Russia. Korotkov and his colleagues were given access to the mummies through intermediaries, sometimes paying the discoverer Mario for the privilege. It has overtones of the Minnesota Iceman, doesn't it, this? in many ways. And the team performed various tests, radiocarbon dating on small tissue samples, anatomical analysis with imaging, DNA extraction, and early results provided both clarity and, frankly, more mystery. Radiocarbon suggested that Maria's body dated to about 1,700 years old. When the Nazca, is that right? 1,700 years old? About the 5th century AD. Okay. Does that stack up? Does the maths stack up on that? Do we have any mathematics people out there? I feel like that doesn't stack up. Which is when the Nazca culture flourished, apparently. This aligned with the idea that the mummies were genuinely ancient. DNA tests, meanwhile, indicated something quite perplexing. 23 pairs of chromosomes, just like a modern human being. And in fact, as Korotkov reported, the DNA appeared to be human DNA. And all of the smaller male mummies even had Y chromosomes, indicating that they were biologically male. But Korotkov and others insisted that the mummies were not simply human. In interviews and conferences, they pointed to anatomical anomalies, the 3 fingers, for goodness sake, with extra joints, the unusual shape of the ribs, the alien-looking skulls, and Korotkov described Maria's rib cage as having an unusual round shape with some bones that are semicircular, quite unlike a normal human rib structure. The investigators claimed that internal organs were present and that the adult female, Maria, even had intact eggs inside her abdomen, implying she might not be a mammal at all, but an egg-laying creature. High-resolution X-rays of one of the smaller mummies indeed showed 3 oblong objects in its torso that some also interpreters as eggs, a feature unknown in human anatomy. These beings, Korotkov suggested, could represent a previously unknown race of intelligent beings. Perhaps, he mused, they were a branch of humanity that evolved earlier than common humans, or even visitors from beyond the Earth. The sensational implications of this, of course, sparked controversy, didn't they? And whilst the Gaia series and alternative media buzzed with excitement, posting that Nazca might once have been a hub for extraterrestrial civilizations, mainstream scientists and Peruvian officials reacted with deep skepticism and concern. By late 2017, professional archaeologists and biologists in Peru were sounding the alarm. They saw indications that the mummies could be fraudulent composites, apparently, created by mutilating and rearranging human remains. To them, the situation was more of a crime scene than a scientific discovery. The desecration of ancient Peruvian graves and manipulation of human bodies for profit or fame. However, it depends what your source of information is. Because, and this is what reignited my interest, really, the story is full of some reports say, or some witnesses say, some studies say, and the studies are often not particularly named specifically, which always gives me pause in these kind of things. But this really is a case of, and it's a little like the Melba Ketchum scenario, where you've got literally one hand saying, it is this, and the other hand saying, no, it isn't, it's this. And the documentary, which I wish I could remember the name of, actually, but I cannot, the documentary really did seem to suggest that competent specialists had examined these mummies, of which there are a lot, by the way, a lot. And those competent specialists had said there was no evidence of manipulation to the skeletal structure of these beings. In fact, they happened to say that the skeleton was composite. It was not made of other bits and pieces. It had not been cut and rearranged. And the most intriguing part, which appeared to be backed up by the CT scans, was this. The three-fingered hands had no visible signs of two digits having been removed. No thumb had been removed. No little pinky finger had been removed. These beings had 3 fingers only, with extra long phalanges in them. I think I'm going from memory here. One of the mummies, which was a different size to the others, had less phalanges in the toes than the larger model, if you like. Which made me think, well, wouldn't the same species have the same number of bones? But, you know, who knows if these are weird things? Who knows how they grow, right? But then that segued into something that blew my mind, okay? Well, I'm jumping ahead. I want to save the mind-blowing thing, really, till a little later. How do I save this? So yes, there were eggs in the abdomens. There were also rare metals. Now this thing, there were also rare metals embedded into the skeleton. They had disc-shaped adornments, let's say, sort of attached to joints and to the skull, things like osmium and cadmium, which are really rare, apparently, according to the thing. So there was some ritual placement of these metallic objects as well. The Universidad Nacional San Luis in Gonzaga took custody of these in 2019. The Ministry of Culture attempted to confiscate them, but failed to prove that there was a fraud. In 2020, so these things have been analysed and analysed over and over and over again over the years. In 2020, the eggs in one specimen who was nicknamed Josephina were confirmed to be organic material. Okay. Confirmed. And studies on the specimen's anatomy and genetics continued. In 2021 to 2022, the Miles paper was published, suggesting that the tridactyl, this might be a non-terrestrial species. In 2023, the very small specimens that we probably all remember from the news were presented at the Mexican Congress, actually. Experts supporting their authenticity, but the Peruvian Ministry of Culture remained skeptical. In 2024, a new specimen, Montserrat, a pregnant tridactyl, was discovered. Not with eggs, but with a fetus in its abdomen. There was also a male specimen, a child, and a teenage tridactyl that were found. Dr. Edgar Hernandez Huari something or other, a Mexican chap, published 2 peer-reviewed articles highlighting the morpho-anatomical, biometric, and craniometric characterization of a tridactyl specimen. Quite. In 2025, the Ministry of Culture met with the researchers to discuss the findings. Collaboration was agreed upon to advance research and improve heritage management. Because what if they are something that is part of Peru's history? What if they are? What if they're a real thing? Now, they have fingerprints also. They have hair. Some of them have hair on their heads. Human fingerprints, obviously, are these loops and arches and what they call walls, these sort of concentric circles, a bit like a whirlpool design. However, the tridactyls, whilst they have fingerprints, they are parallel or almost parallel lines across their digits. They're a different look, or halls. How do you say that? Is it like halls, as in deck the halls? It must be. So they don't look like human fingerprints either. Human prints are dynamic with these patterns, and they are just not. It suggests, again, a non-human source. Fascinating. And there's images of these things online. Now, can all this be faked? Yes, probably. Yes, probably. But you see, there seems to be an immense amount of money being spent on this research. It must cost a bit to do CT scans, right? It must do. And to have all this technology having a go at these fingerprints look very, very weird, by the way. But that wasn't the weirdest, okay? That was not the weirdest thing. Because aside from the fingerprints, the 3 fingers, the 3 toes, the strange rib shapes, the metallic adornments attached to the mummies, the different stages of life found with different sizes of mummies, the fact that one of them was pregnant, the fact that a different one had eggs, that's 2 different species, clearly, straight away. The other thing, and I don't know what you're going to make of this, the other thing was there was insectoid mummies. I'm going to say that again. Insectoid mummies. And if you just let me, I'm going to just have a little Google of this so I get this right, because I was aghast at this. There was a specimen that they called, or they nicknamed, so they nicknamed all the specimens, right? This one is called Nukari, is a new tridactyl insectoid specimen presented in early 2024. I didn't know about this. I didn't know about this at all. Dr. Robert Farrell commented that the small circular rib cage on the small ones like Josephina and Alberto are small in circumference because they maybe didn't have hearts, lungs, nor digestive tracts, right? But they had some sort of mono organ that does all of those things in one go, right? But this Nukari's physiology is even stranger because this tridactyl type it apparently doesn't have a rib cage at all. It doesn't have a rib cage. And there are huge petroglyphs and objects found near these beings that can be interpreted as all sorts. But really, this Nukari has the elongated skull. It has the 3 fingers. It does have some metal adornments on the mummy. It does not have a rib cage. It has 2 short bones protruding from the back of what I guess you would call a spine here, which they think suggested it had wings, okay, wings, that's right. And it just looks like the craziest thing. And it has these sharp fangs. It looks completely made up, but is it? Why are they going to all this trouble with this? That's what I want to know. It's fascinating, really. I wish we could sort of have a watch party, if you know what I mean, and just see what we all think of it at the same time. So now 20% of you think that the real deal alien bodies, 21% of you think they are fake, and 38% are just not sure. And I think I'm in that I'm just not sure arena at the moment. Because, like I say, it seems like they are spending a lot of time and money on, well, all this investigation. I mean, there's an immense website all about it, all about the DNA and the congressional hearings. I don't understand DNA, but Ricardo Rangel Martinez is apparently publishing research papers and whatnot. Is this Mr. Andy, do we think? Not sure what's happened to our guest tonight. It's probably my fault. I think I might have done something wrong. When I sent the invite, as they say these days, my bad. That's terrible of me, isn't it? I shall have to catch up with Andy after the show. Yes, so that there's countless things. I will post a link to the website. Certainly, yes, I will. In fact, it's tridactyls.org. But I'll post it a little later on. It's unbelievable, really. Which, of course, does that mean it's true or false? Who knows? And this is the annoying thing, isn't it? Who really knows? So yes, a watch party would be very good, wouldn't it? Yes, I think that'd be good. Could the species have developed to cope with the changes to the Earth? Maybe they did, and maybe it's now us. Although I'm not sure how we could have evolved from insectoids. It's incredible, really. And you know, George Knapp, who is a bit of a hero of mine, I have to say, George Knapp quite openly says in interviews, oh yeah, there are insectoid ones, and they're the leaders. They're the bosses, apparently. How do you think about that? They can do away with people. Oh, sorry, Stephen, that's a different conversation. I'm sorry. I've intruded on a conversation you're having there. I just like to check the chat, you see, now and then. There are tendons and flesh and all the things that a body should have by accounts. They're genuine. Yes, that's Fairquare Lion Trousers. Welcome. Ron, welcome. I can see you there as well. Blazing. Hello, Blazing. Welcome. And anybody else who I've missed there. I wish I had a mono organ, says Hexotica. Yes. Apparently it does all the functions of, you know, the heart and the lungs and everything. That's the suggestion. Some of them even had brain matter still mummified in the skull. The baby ones had non-fused, oh gosh, what's the word? You know, the skull plates. I've forgotten the word now. They were not fused together, consistent with the age of something, whatever they are. They look human, but they're not, it seems. The insectoids, says James, are seemingly one of the closer alien species to this solar system, alien species, and they seemingly don't like us humans. Well, Andrea's going to buy a massive fly swatter, she says. Yes. The dog man should take care of them, I think, as well. Yes. I just don't know what to make of them. you know. And I'm also a bit jealous that we never get anything like this in England, really. There's always weird stuff elsewhere. But if you think of all the civilizations that have been and gone, and goodness knows what there is under the earth. I was also watching a bit of something about Antarctica, which is the southern pole, of course, and the crevasses there, which are essentially lethal, enormous, hundreds and thousands of feet deep gaps in the ground, and they swallow people up, and that's it. You don't ever get out of them. But that, of course, then, because you know what YouTube is like, it suggested to me the next video, which was the creatures and cryptids of the Antarctic, which is, you know, odd things that really I think it was very silly. That particular video, that is. But I was interested to learn about the several countries who essentially own the Antarctic, and that means you're not allowed to research there, etc., which makes it ripe for conspiracy theory, doesn't it? It makes it ripe for conspiracy theory. You know, there are treaties that say you cannot mine there, for example, and certain select scientists can go and spend time there, and you can go round it on a boat sort of thing, but you can't go into the interior. It's not blocked out by Google Earth, but people do wonder what is under there. What is under the ice? And that's another, well, it's another video entirely, isn't it? It just leads on to these kind of things. It's like the, yes, James, pyramids and areas where you're not allowed to fly over. That's right. Underground mountains and things like this. They found insects that can live on the glaciers. Well, there you go. I didn't know that one. That's a new one on me. Antarctic, no-go area, yeah. The Amazon, what's in the Amazon? What's in the rainforest there? You know, all these, the Australian outback. Goodness me. You know, I saw a thing about giant monitor lizards. Was it megalotheria or something like that? Not megatherium. That's the hairy one, isn't it? Mega something. A big ass lizard, anyway. In Australia, that they think might still be alive, because why not? Why wouldn't it be, really? Why wouldn't an apex predator survive? You know, giant spiders, of course. Australia. Yes, spent some time in Australia myself, and the worst I saw over there was a run-over snake, or a cut snake, as they say. And that's a nice Australian saying, is that. Over here we have mad as a box of frogs, and silly as a rabbit. But an Australianism is you're just acting as silly as a cut snake. Always makes me laugh, that one. But yes, that's probably the worst thing I saw over there. So all these vast areas of the world, the ocean, for goodness sake. What on earth is in the ocean? There were 57 countries, says Farquhar Lion Trousers, that signed the Antarctic Treaty. I find it mental that they don't get along everywhere else, but down there everyone's pals. Something strange is definitely happening down there. Do I think the mammoth still lives somewhere? I would love to think so. And, you know, I was watching, I think this might have been a Forrest Gallant thing, whereby the plan was to rewild the Siberian tundra with mammoths and megatheriums and woolly rhinos and all that sort of thing. I don't think that ever happened. I mean, could the mammoth still live somewhere? Who knows, really? I mean, I think I think there could be something to Mbembe, so why not mammoths, right? You know, and I don't want to appear to be a person who just believes everything, but I like the possibility, and I like thinking about the what ifs, and I do enjoy just as much as I enjoy not believing everything weird. I also enjoy not believing everything that tries to tell me there isn't anything weird, because I have experienced strange things myself, so I know there is a strangeness out there, and it's fun to skirt around the possibilities, isn't it, and have the wonder. Doug says, I don't think they have found high enough quality DNA to clone a mammoth. I think that's right, and I think what we would end up with is a hybrid, isn't it? Hybrid sort of species of a modern day elephant and a mammoth. I think that's what we'd have. I'd love to see dodos returned, says Steadfast Dingley. There's a few dodos in and around my area. There you go. Yeah. An island off the east coast of Russia seemingly had mammoths on it in the 1200s. Good God. Really? The thylacine. What about the thylacine? That one. The Tasmanian... What is it? Tasmanian wolf dog thing. They say that's still alive, don't they? Coelacanth, of course, was captured, wasn't it, in a market, prepared to be eaten. You know, so really, what is out there that we don't see? And how do we know how much of what is out there is often and constantly monitored? That's the other thing. And this takes us to England, because we're a small place, you know. We're a small island, and there's not much wildness, is there, really? But the wildness that there is doesn't have eyes on it at all times. It doesn't have cameras on it and people walking around it at all times. And really, Tasmanian tiger, that was it. Yeah. So the weird and wild places that we have, then surely the fact that they're not monitored all the time gives more scope for saying, well, there could be something there. It doesn't mean there is, but there could be something there. We are an ancient place, after all. We're an ancient place. And if you look at, like, Scotland and Ireland as well, and Wales, goodness me, Wales, you know, a place close to my heart, Wales. But Wales itself is a hotbed of, you know, folklore and legend and all of those kind of things. Where do those things come from? Where do they come from? Are they stories? Are they cautionary devices to stop children going to play in muddy swamps? Yes, some of them are, some of them are not, I think. But the ancientness of the land and the fact that, yes, they are not under constant monitoring all the time suggests to me that if there are intelligent species that have not yet been discovered, then that is their intelligence that has led them to be undiscovered, and they know full well what areas are not populated, what areas are sparsely populated, what sort of routines we have as humans, what roads are, what flight paths are, where farms are, you know, what the tourism people do when they're out and about. It doesn't take much to be intelligent enough to evade humanity in places that humanity is really not designed to spend the night, let's say. We're all very much in need of our homes and our heating and our food on tap and our toilets in the house and our showers and our beds and our televisions and our home comforts. Even great explorers still go home now and then. So it doesn't take much for an intelligent species, of whatever it may be, to evade a humanity that does not spend 100% of its time in that creature's habitat. You see, if you get my drift. And that, of course, is why the ocean is such a huge potential area, isn't it? For big monsters to be. That's my view. Anyway. So, yes, we're going to hit the top of the hour now. I apologise for my error in getting the wonderful Mr. Andy Roberts on. I don't know what I have done. I guess he's probably not going to be very happy with me either. But we'll take a short break and we'll see what I can do about this oversight of mine in the meantime. Here we go. Let's take a little break, shall we? To take part in tonight's show, there are a number of options. You can send a message on WhatsApp, giving a brief outline of what it is you want to discuss, and then wait for my call back. Alternatively, for UK residents, you can call direct on 0141 673 3743 to join the call queue and get through to the live show. And for listeners in the US, you can also call on 929 673 3743. That's 929 Mr. Eerie. That's a New York City number. And if you're too shy to call, then you can always email eeriesvault@gmail.com with your story or your theory, whatever it is you want to talk about, and I can read it out for you on air and state. Remember, this is your show, and I am waiting for your call. Strange encounters, theories about the paranormal, questions about some of the cases I've covered on the channel, whatever it is, as long as it's weird, I want to hear it. Call now to be on Eerie's Vault Live. This is Eerie's Vault Live, and I am your host, Leon Eerie, and this is your number one stream for the weird, the strange, and the unexplained. That's right, the unexplained, and my apologies once again for having lost our star guest for this evening. We shall carry on regardless, I think. However, I had looked forward to talking about the Berwyn Mountains case because, really, I had sort of left myself... Oh, we have a call coming in. This is good. One moment, please. Good evening. You're on Eerie's Vault Live. Welcome to the show. I certainly can. Oh, yes. Go for it.
Only have a few mines open, but I like that because it seems like the land is healing from all the strip jobs, you know. That
I understand. Yes, I've got you. Yes.
Yes. Okay. So I was washing dishes. My family and I, we lived at the time. It was about 16 years ago. And the chat is saying they can't.
Oh, I fixed it.
Hear.
Yes, that fixed it. I'm sorry about that. Yeah.
That's all right. I apologize. No. Okay. So it was about 16 years ago, and where we live is in the Southern Appalachians in far western Virginia. It's actually up nestled in between Kentucky and West Virginia.
I see.
And it's a really rural county. I guess my town. The county seat is about 2,000 people, I believe. Okay, it's not uncommon for people to keep cows. It's getting less common nowadays, but it's not uncommon for people to keep cows. And my neighbor who lived across the road, and we lived almost at the head of the holler. We were just a little bit below the head of the holler. I was washing dishes one morning after I'd made breakfast, looking through the window at the cows over there on my neighbor's hill, which they were always there. It's almost like you don't even register stuff after a while, you know. I believe what I heard was a gunshot, which wasn't uncommon at all for that area. You know, people could be shooting for any reason. And I heard what I thought was a shotgun. Okay, the cows started to move. And I thought, well, he's probably over there shooting in from his porch or something. And when the cows started to move, Liam, one of the cows that I had been looking up, I swear, and I'll never forget it, It stood up on two legs and walked into the trees.
Oh my
And
God.
all that time, I had thought it was a cow.
Oh my God. Okay. Okay. Take us, put us in the picture there then. What was it about it apart from standing up on two legs?
Okay, they were all laying down.
Yeah.
After they graze, it's like they rest, and they all lay down, so you can't even see their legs. Their legs are folded in under them
Yeah.
when they're laying on the hill.
Mm.
And the other cows were laying down. And I swear in my mind it looked just like another cow. And this is what blew my mind. And then when the other cows got up on four legs and started walking after that gunshot, they started walking. And this thing popped up on two legs.
Gosh.
And walked into the trees instead of going to where they were going to be safe or where they were going to gather. All the real cows went one direction, and this thing stood up and went into the trees.
Oh, wow. So somebody's asking, did you see its head?
I saw its body. I did not see its face. My vision ain't that good. I saw that it had a head, but my eyes, honestly, the thing I was looking at were the two legs, because as I was just doing dishes, looking out the window at what I saw every day, when this thing stood up on two legs, I remember my face tingling.
Really?
And yes, and it just not, it didn't look real. But it sure did. It glided right into the woods. And the very first thing I went and did was I told my brother, but he mocked me. He didn't believe me. He didn't.
Do you think the cows, did the cows react to it? It seems like it was just hanging out with them.
That's the strange thing. No, they did not. But they are not known for their intelligence either.
Yes.
It blended right in with them. I don't think they realized that it was there at all, because I didn't. I thought it was just another black cow.
Mm.
And I remember being little and being down there at my papa's house where we lived at this time, and being out there at night and us hearing strange sounds over the hill.
Oh.
And the adults talking about it like, well, maybe it is a heifer calving, or maybe it's coon dogs. But it was very strange sounds. It didn't happen all the time. It maybe happened like 2 times when I was down there, but there were strange howls that came from the woods.
Gosh.
Sure did.
Do you think are we talking Bigfoot here or something else?
I think so.
Wow.
That's what it looked like to me.
Gosh, you've reminded me of
so.
are you aware of the cowman of Copalis Beach story?
No, I'm not.
It sounds sort of similar where, but it was a child who saw a Bigfoot approaching the house, and he just said, oh, there's a cowman coming, because he assumed it was one of the cows until it stood up. It sounds uncannily. I've just had a chill up my spine saying that as well.
Oh my gosh, no, I did not know about that.
Yeah, and you know what else?
What about that? That's how I guess I've seen a cowman too then.
Maybe you've seen a cowman, and maybe the cows were used to it.
They seemed to be. They didn't seem spooked by it. And when all the cows went in one direction, it walked right into the woods.
Goodness.
It sure did.
Goodness me.
And I would take my little girl and my nephew over there to play in a creek that ran at the bottom of that hill. But after that, I was pretty cautious.
I can imagine. Yeah, I can well imagine. How big was it? It must have been, to think it was a cow, it must have been bulky, big and bulky.
It was. It was bulky. It looked just like one of them, but it was the one that was closest to the tree line. And I remember it was the beginning of fall, just the first start of fall, and the leaves were just starting to change. But yes, it was big, and it looked just like a cow laying on the side of the hill.
Wow, incredible, isn't it? And obviously the shot has frightened them and moved them on. Did it rush, or was it pretty nonchalant
it was pretty nonchalant, honestly.
Yeah.
It did not rush. I wanted. Oh, I so wish I'd had a pair of binoculars beside me,
Oh, I
or
bet.
even a camera,
Mm.
or anything. But that's. I've had a couple of experiences with ghosts and stuff, but that is my only cryptid encounter that I think that I saw in my life.
Gosh, and maybe the howls were the same thing then. I
Yes,
mean, one can never know, of course, but
right.
mm,
And I probably never will.
yeah.
But I am a paranormal enthusiast, and I think it does stem from, excuse me, having just having a fascination with this, and living in a haunted house when I was little, and
Ah,
my mom and papa's house being haunted. But I don't want to monopolize all of the time. I'm sure other people want to call, but I'd love to call back some other time and tell you about the ghost I met.
and I would love that too. And this is a wonderful encounter. A fair dinkum Sasquatch seen in the wild. There we go. Wonderful.
Thank you so much, Liz.
Thank you ever so much for the call. Thank you.
You have a good evening.
You
Bye-bye.
too. Cheerio. Wow.
Bye-bye.
There we go, callers. That was a heck of a call, wasn't it? Yes. So, imagining it was a cow, it stands up on two legs and wanders off into the tree line. And the cows are not bothered by it. Goodness me. Reminds me of the stories of Sasquatch braiding horses' hair, and things like that, where the livestock are just used to these things being there. Yeah. Wow. I have an envy for people who've seen a Sasquatch with their very own eyeballs. I do. Here's another call. Let's go. Good evening. You are on Eerie's Vault Live. Welcome to the show.
Oh, hello, Mr. Eerie. It's Ian Parkin.
Hello, Ian. How is Ian?
I'm not so bad, thank you. How are you?
I'm jolly well. Thank you very much.
Good, good. Yes, well, tonight then I've got another UAP one. So I've written it as usual, so I'll carry on. It's,
Yeah, not
UAPs
a problem.
UAPs in the night with a question mark, and you'll see why that is later. So here we go. It is 1966, and I am now 12. A school friend had told me of an apparent UAP sighting he had experienced. He had been woken up at night by a sound like a railway train outside his bedroom window. On looking out, he said he saw a sphere of red light which passed his window and moved out of sight. I didn't put a lot of stock into this story, thinking he was possibly winding me up, as he was sometimes prone to a bit of practical joking and was aware of my interest. Be that as it may, it was 1 or 2 days later, and I had retired around 9 o'clock as usual. I then woke up, if memory serves me, around 1 o'clock in the morning. And I then became aware of, yes, you've guessed it, a sound like a railway train. This began to get louder, and then the fabled red light appeared, which, as it neared the left-hand side of my window, I could see that it was apparently a sphere. As I continued to watch, the sphere moved to the right of my window. At first, I thought it would carry on and move away. And imagine my surprise as it once more appeared and went back to the left and then returned to the right again. It got back again to the right-hand side of my window, and this time, as it did so, it seemed to me to move away, with the train sound fading also. And at this point, I was wondering if it might be my friend and possibly one of her doing more to wind me up. I had visions of them having tape recorded a train. The other owned a small portable recording device and placing a flashlight with red paper over the lens on a pole and swinging it in front of my window. So I went to the window and opened it, looking out up and down and to left and right. I couldn't see anyone, and if they had done as I said, it would have taken a while for them to leave, as there was a high garden wall to climb over. Anyway, the next day at school, I asked both and described the events. And of course, they denied having had anything to do with it. So I can't say one way or the other, and to this day it is an unsolved mystery.
Yes, that's it would certainly be a heck of a thing, a heck of a prank, wouldn't it?
It would, yes, I think definitely would be, yes. It would take quite a lot of doing.
It certainly would. And the train sound is intriguing because many UAP encounters don't mention sound as such, but the sound of a train suggests a very mechanical thing to me.
Yes, indeed, yes, it does sound in that way. There have been some sounds I've been here, but they mostly tend to be some whistling sounds and
or the odd hum here and there.
Yeah, low frequency sounds and things like that. Not sounds like a train. I mean, I was actually quite close to the railway lines. They were about a mile or so away, but this was much louder and much closer than they would sound.
Yeah, and it's did it have the rhythm? You know, the bangers and mash rhythm.
Yes,
It did.
Yes,
That's intriguing,
indeed.
isn't it?
Indeed, yeah, we like that, yeah. You know, like going over fish plates and things like that.
Yeah. So I wonder if do you think that's indicative? I mean, obviously, you can't say yes or no with any, certainty. But do you think that might be
No.
indicative of propulsion or something else?
Well, obviously the first thing you think of is propulsion, but obviously it could have been something else. Though quite what I really don't know. Unless it was some sort of again, like we were saying about the apparition last time.
Yes.
You know, about the seances. If that was some sort of
The Spaniard guy.
yes, the Spaniard. Yes, another sort of announcement, if you like, in the same sort of way.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Sort of
Yes.
almost a
yeah.
coded message or something. Mm.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, or, you know, like with the announce themselves by a sound.
I see what you mean. Yeah. I wonder if there's any significance to the red light in particular.
Well, indeed, it could well be. I mean, because red lights have been seen quite a lot with them, haven't they? Excuse me. And along with blue lights and green lights, especially with orbs. I mean, I can remember one when I was back in Bristol again. We used to go down into Wiltshire hunting. You know, UFO hunting.
Yes.
One night we had some friends who lived on a farm, and we used to go and watch them there, near 4 Mile Field, actually, not far away. And one night we were looking over, and there was a forest on one side, and we'd not seen anything all night, and then suddenly, from the forest came these 3 orbs, and they were all different colours. I think it was blue, green, and possibly yellow. I can't remember exactly for sure.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wonder if there's a hierarchy to the colour that you are, because some other, let's call them Magonia type encounters. Let's say, for example, the what's it called? The Sandown Spaceman. Are you familiar with that one?
Yes, I know that. Yeah.
Yeah, who refers to itself as All Colours Sam as his name.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
And
all colours.
yeah, and several other cases that I've sort of read through have described beings referring to themselves either as colours or having gemstones or some piece of clothing that changes colour depending on a situation that they're in as well.
Yes, right. Well, yeah. Well, I remember. I read. I can't remember his name now, the author, but he had a whole chapter on communication by colour, the particular colours because apparently he was psychic and he could pick up these messages that they were actually giving
Okay.
by these colours and so on. Yeah, I'll see if I can find it. I'll let you know.
Yes.
I don't remember the name of him now.
Yes, it'd be good to look that one up. Yeah, definitely would. There we go. A disembodied train in the night.
Yes, in the night, yes.
Question
and
mark.
while I'm here. Indeed, yeah. And while I'm here,
Yes.
remember last time I talked about the guy who claimed that spirits had jobs and assignments?
Oh, yes.
Yes, well, I found his name. It was Matt Fraser.
Matt
And
Fraser.
Yeah. And it's in his book, We Never Die, Secrets of the Afterlife.
Oh, let me write this down. Matt Fraser. Let me write it slowly so that I can read it later. Matt Fraser.
Yeah.
We never die. There we go.
Yeah.
Jolly good.
Secrets of the Afterlife.
Secrets of the Afterlife. There we go. I have it. Thank you for that. Very good.
Okay, no
Yes.
problem.
And thanks for another great...
Okay, no problem. Yes, okay.
All right.
Yeah, so good night.
Yes, good night, Ian. Thank you very much. Cheerio.
Yeah, no problem. See you. Bye.
What do we think to that one, ladies and gents? I could see the switchboard going mental then during that call. So just as a guideline, the way I have this set up, here we go. I'll answer this call, then I'll tell you. I'll explain after this call. You can hear it. Hello, you are on Eerie's Vault Live. Welcome to the show.
Hello, Leon.
Hello.
How are you?
Oh, is it Andrea?
It is.
Hello, darling. I didn't put you in timeout. I don't know what that was. I haven't put anybody in timeout, so.
I think it's because I put a load of emojis down without writing anything.
Oh, right. Oh, I tell you what as well. It does have a 15-second pause before it lets you do another comment as well. So maybe it was just that, perhaps. But yes.
Maybe.
Wasn't me, dear.
No problem. I was just going to, the lady talking about cows brought something up, which I was going to mention anyway, about how I started to have sort of high strangeness occurring in my life. So it was synchronicity. I said, is that the right word?
That's right. That's what they call it nowadays, the youngsters.
Oh, I'm certainly not.
No, me neither. But
anyway, right. Well, I was living on the Isle of Wight at the time. And it was back in the day when if you knew your address and you could recite it and you understood stranger danger, you're allowed to wander.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
So as it was, I'd gone off in the morning to my friend's aunt and uncle's house. And on the way there was one of these permanent ponds with a meadow. And dairy cows grazing on the other side. I noticed for the first time ever dragonflies, these massive, very beautiful blue and green, shiny dragonfly, very metallic looking.
Oh, yes.
And so I stood to watch them, knowing in my mind they were dragonflies, even though I'd never been taught about them. Nobody had ever mentioned them, but I just knew them to be, it just sort of came into my head, dragonflies. And this was about 9 o'clock in the morning, and as long as I was back for lunchtime, I was okay. The weird thing was, I was stood watching them, and it was like the world flipped upside down in a weird way. It's like, you know, when you go over a humpback bridge and your stomach goes whoop.
Oh, yes, that moment. Yes, I do. Yes.
That's the one, yeah. And it was almost like I wasn't upside down, but it had flipped upside down, and my gravity was still working the same way. Feet were on the ground. The colours were even more vibrant, and I stood for what I thought was about 10 minutes watching them. And then all of a sudden I realised I'm hungry. I better get home. because my mother will give me a clobbering
Yeah. Or
otherwise.
the street lights have come on, I'd better get back, sort of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. Um, Now, bearing in mind, it was about 9 o'clock in the morning when I'd left the house, and I was only about 15 minutes away from our house then. Anyway, the minute I thought, I'm hungry, I better get home, it was like everything flipped back up again and round to the side, and the colours sort of dimmed down to how they are normally.
Mm.
And I noticed I had sunburn on my shoulders. So it was obviously a bit later in the day than I'd realised. And it was, I got home and I'd missed dinner time. It was 5 o'clock and Dad was due home for tea. So my mother was very cross because she'd been out hunting for me.
Mm.
She'd even actually walked that path apparently and had the other kids looking for me.
Oh.
So I was in deep poop because Dad was about to find out that Mum had let me go all day and not found me. She slapped me on the leg just as I was telling her that the cows had followed me home. And she was about to give me a slap for fibbing, she said. And one of the cows that had followed me home pushed her head in through the back door, which was open, and she mooed at my mother. She bellowed at my mother, and my mother was so shocked she fell on her backside, and I didn't get the second slap on the leg.
It spared the other leg. The cow was saying, "I told you so." Yes.
That was the one. Yeah, we had a small herd of dairy cattle in our backyard. Now I wasn't daft enough to leave gates open.
Yeah.
So how they'd followed me home or got out of the field, we don't know because it was locked, according to the farmer who came and collected them later.
Oh.
But I didn't get a telling off from my dad because he came in just as a cow mooed and my mum fell on her backside with the shock of it. But ever since then, I've had a connection with animals. I think I mentioned that when I mentioned about the dog man. I receive sort of feelings and
yes, yeah. The
images.
first one was with the goat, wasn't it? And you just knew it was there.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that was kind of how it started. So yeah, is there anything you'd like to ask?
Well, it sounds like an enchantment of some kind, or even what they might call a bit of the old fairy glamour.
I suspect you're right, yeah. I think so.
We'd also...
Especially knowing...
Sorry,
go on.
No, I'm sorry, continue.
I think knowing that they were dragonflies without ever having heard about dragonflies before.
Yeah.
And that was something that continues right till today, where I'll just know stuff without ever having learned about it before.
It's just sort of given to you. Mm.
Yeah, it just sort of pops into my head. If I try and think about things, I can't ever, get it right. But if it just pops into my head, it's usually the right answer.
Mm. So you must have been there for some time to get sunburn, of course.
Yeah.
So
it was from about, I would say, 9:30 in the morning or 9:15 in the morning till supper time, tea time.
Really?
About 4 or
Gosh.
5 o'clock. Yeah.
And
to me, it felt like 10 minutes.
Yeah. It sounds like, and I mean, today, I think nowadays they'd call it the Oz factor or something like that, which is a similar, this sensation of being in a sort of a bubble elsewhere. Do you think that when the other kids were looking for you and when your mother was looking for you, do you think they searched the area that you were actually in?
Apparently so, yeah, because this was a relatively well-known pathway, and I'd already told my mum that that's where I was going.
Yeah.
To my friend's aunt and uncle's house. Christine, my friend from Wolf Close opposite, was supposed to be meeting me there, and it was her that sort of raised the alarm that I hadn't arrived there, but they waited until lunchtime before they started looking for me.
Yes.
And apparently my mum had been up and down there, and the other children had, and then they'd sort of spread out. They couldn't see me, and I didn't hear or see them either. I've got to say, the dragonflies, when it flipped upside down, they appeared more, it's going to sound strange, they appeared more human-like.
Okay.
And it was almost like they were wearing little glittering outfits rather than being simply dragonflies.
Are we talking about very, very small humans?
Around about 4 or 5 inches, yeah.
This is
And
getting more interesting now. Not that it wasn't, it was already interesting, may I say.
thank you.
There's another depth to this now. So it sounds like you were, well, they'd call it taken, right?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah.
I believe so. I didn't know anything about fairies. Nobody had told me any fairy tales or anything like that. I'll have been about 4 years of age. My main interest was with animals, you see.
Yes.
I kept gerbils and a tortoise called Fizzy Lemon. So animals were my friends, but I realised afterwards when that cow moved and stopped me getting the second slap on the leg, that animals were my, friends. And I've sort of had a way with them, so to speak, ever since, or rather they've had, it's been a communication.
Yeah,
with
yeah.
them.
Sort of affinity
I
with
call
them.
myself, pardon?
A bit an affinity with them, really.
Absolutely, yes. I wouldn't call myself an animal communicator or whatever they call themselves now, but it's just been an intuitive thing.
Yeah, so we don't have to call you Andrea Doolittle then.
No, absolutely not, please. No.
All
right. Well,
one question before you go. One question.
Of course.
I'm interested in. So we've explored sights, what you could see there.
Yeah.
What about sounds?
Yeah. That changed as well from the buzzing of the wings when I initially sort of saw them. When it had flipped upside down, I'm almost certain that it wasn't the buzzing of wings, but it was more musical. A very high-pitched, almost bell-like and flute-like musical. Fascinating thing going on. It looked like a party.
Yes.
Small party.
Yeah.
But I'd been offered food and drinks, but just in passing, and when I refused it, it wasn't getting pushed upon me. It was just, sort of something had been proffered by these tiny creatures to me. I felt like a giant, even though I was only a couple of foot tall. But they didn't take offence at me refusing. And as I say, as soon as I felt, I am hungry, I'm a bit late, it was flipped back again.
Yeah.
And I went running home to get clobbered.
To get a slap on the leg. One of the things that if you were training in psychic work, if you were a trainee in opening up to out-of-body experiences, etc., one of the things you were advised to do is, when you have closed connection, as it were, you were advised to eat something or drink something so that it kicks in your physical systems and shocks you back into your body. So it's, that's exactly right. Grounding, indeed. And that's, to me, sounds like your body just did that naturally because you were hungry, and that broke the spell.
That's it, yeah. And it was a millisecond, just flipped straight back path. The minute the thought came into my head, oh, I'm hungry, boom, it flipped back over.
You're back in the physical. Yeah. Fascinating.
Yeah, and then I went home and faced the consequences for having been longer than, and causing my mother a little consternation.
Yes, because of course she can't just ring you on your mobile to find out where you were. Can't back then, so
certainly not back in the 1960s.
Not at all. No, that's right. Yeah, when we used to be gone for hours and, gosh.
Yeah.
Different times.
Yeah, absolutely. The freedom was wonderful. Yeah, absolutely. So I'll leave it at that. Give other people a chance to call in. Do you have any other questions before I go?
I think that's. I think we've covered that there. There's a fabulous encounter. Thank you. It sounds like a glamour episode to me. Certainly does.
Yeah. I did see the good folk one more time, but this was in Holland.
Oh.
And because I was 6 or 7 years of age, my older sister had been trying to scare me about ghosts. So my only point of reference, I suppose, was ghosts, because I saw 5 little pale figures. Oh dear, this sounds so strange. Dancing around my gerbil's cage.
Okay.
And I screamed the house down. I just got into bed. I was waiting for Dad to pop up to say goodnight. And I could see them dancing around my vivarium and screamed like bloody murder, because to me, ghosts. And they vanished like that.
Gosh.
So that was the second time. But I can thank my sister for putting the fear into me.
Priming you with the fear. Yeah, that's right. Good. Well, that's what siblings are for, isn't it, really?
Oh, yeah.
It is.
All right, then. Well,
thank you very much, Andrea. Yes, thank you so much for the call.
Good night.
Cheerio.
Good night to everybody there.
Yep, good night. Thank you. There we are, ladies and gentlemen. Now, to me, that's put me in mind of the Green Children of Woolpit. Probably because it was mentioned by someone earlier in the chat. I saw it flying by that my accent is a Woolpit accent. The Green Children of Woolpit, of course, is a story of, well, funnily enough, some green children that were found in Woolpit, would you believe, back in ye olden days. But one of the, let's say, strands of thought on it is that they may well have been brought to the area they were found. I think they were found at the entrance of a big cave or something. They claimed to have travelled underground, under this cave, and come from a land of no sun and weird glowing rocks and things like that. And they said they followed the sound of the bells. When they eventually got the children to talk, that is, they claimed to have travelled from a place called St. Martin's Land and had followed the sound of the bells and then ended up in this other reality to them, which Andrea reminded me of when she said that there was a musicality to the sounds in the, let's say, bubble that she seemed to find herself in. Hexotica, yes, the Green Children did speak a strange language. Let me just finish this thought. They did speak a strange language, which was believed to be Flemish, but eventually the girl was able to learn English and describe her situation. We have a call coming in. Stay on the line, please, caller. I'm trying desperately to get back to you to answer it. Oh, it's gone. I do apologise. Please try again. Do try again. Yes, they spoke what was believed to be Flemish, but could have been just gobbledygook. I think the boy died, but the girl was taken in by a wealthy landowner, apparently became quite she gained a position of relative authority in the household, and yes, did learn English and was able to tell this fascinating tale of, coming from St. Martin's Land through the tunnel, and they were herding their father's cattle or something. Strange synchronicities here. Excuse me. Stories of cows and, bells and music and things like that. Caller, whomsoever that may have been, please do try again. I'm just going to close the poll for the tridactyl mummies of Peru. Goodness me, there's the results for you. Yes, it sounds very much like a glamour episode. And one question I saw, I'm sorry I can't remember who asked it, was that do the British people believe in fairies? And, oh, wait a minute, here we go. It says live, folks. What's this going to be? Good afternoon, good evening, you're on Eerie's Vault Live. Welcome to the show.
Hello, Mr. Eerie. It's John from Twisted Mind.
Hello, sir. How is one?
I'm laid out on my back at the moment. My back's totally got out on me.
Oh, dear.
Good stuff. Thanks for getting in. What would you like to hear? A tale of UFO or a tale of an area that is just weird? An area land.
I feel like following from Andrea's call, which was a weird place, let's go for the weird place.
Okay. I live in deepest, darkest Sussex, down the Sussex coast. And the area I live in is between Chichester and Arundel Castle. And in that area, there's lots of very, very old places going back to prehistory, the Bronze Age, everything, Iron Age, Saxons, you name it, Romans. It's got it all down here. Yeah. Now there's an area. I don't know if anyone's heard of it. Clapham Woods.
Oh yes, yes, very much so. In fact, it's been on my short list of stuff to talk about for a long time.
Well, if you're ever down here, I will take you to one specific place in Sussex near to Clapham Woods, and I'll take you on a little tour. Or anyone that's listening, if they're ever down in Sussex, I'll gladly take anyone on a little tour. Because just south east of Clapham Woods, there's a place called Binsted Woods, with a haunted pond. So you've got basically in that area, you've got a haunted pond with a little, what do they call it now? Like a little monument to whoever, and it's got a St. Mary Virgin.
Oh yes,
in it, and to that. Directly south of Clapham Woods, you've got a place where what they called now, not the Knights Hospitaller, which was established in 1290, and to the left of that, there's a place called that's around Knucker. It's a Knucker. Have you heard of them? You know what a Knucker is?
Oh, it's the cave spirit or sprite, isn't it?
Yeah, Knucker.
Yeah.
The second word is worm, Wyrm.
Oh, okay.
And basically worms were spirits connected to water.
I see, right.
And another word for a dragon is a worm.
That's right, yeah, that's right.
So you've got all these things in this small area. And when you could drive from one to the other in 10 minutes, and then north, 10 minutes, south by 10 minutes. But anyway, Clapham Woods, for anyone that doesn't know, there's been lots of deaths there. There's been a couple of what they thought were suspected murders. People have gone missing in Clapham Woods. Horses have gone missing. Pets go missing in Clapham Woods. And if you go directly from Clapham Woods, you'll come to a place called Chanctonbury Hill, which is locally, it's one of the most spookiest places around. Sits on the North Downs. And basically goes back. There were 2 Roman temples on this hill fort at Chanctonbury. And there's all sorts of weirdness. There's been reports of UFOs, people having UFO experiences, ghosts of Saxon warriors, etc. So bearing all that in mind, I've been to all these places many, many times. Many, many times. It's just something to do on a Sunday or with a pal.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
You know?
Mm.
Or take kids to, you know?
Yeah.
So my tale is I went to Canterbury because of the tales of UFOs and ghosts and this and the other. Well, a pal of mine many years ago, and on the way back, we decided to check out Clapham Woods. Because in Clapham Woods, someone had told us, and someone had taken a photograph, this is back in about the early 1990s, that the devil worshippers that go there.
Oh, yeah.
So you've got that there. You've got everything there in this woods. It is a creepy old place. And the fact that so many people have died there or been found dead there or disappeared.
That's true. Yeah.
It's quite interesting. So we decided to park up and go and visit Clapham Woods. Because there's a tale of, well, it's a thing, it's real, that whoever it was, people that go there with the white witches, black witches, whatever they are pulled the tops of the trees, certain types of trees, I think they were probably birch, and they formed them into like a, what do you call it? Like a cathedral-like structure. You know, the roof of the cathedral is so high and it's vaulted.
Yes, yes.
And they tied these trees together and epoxied them together. So there's one part in the woods that is like a cathedral roof.
Good Lord, yeah.
That's what we went to find. So we parked the car up after going to Chanctonbury. Well, we call it in Sussex mooching. You're mooching about, you know.
Yeah.
So we parked the car up and we were walking through the woods. We never did get to find where the devil works or something to be. There's a very large oak apparently where things are hung from and people leave, you know, votive offerings or whatever, you know.
Yes, yeah.
We never did get to find it, and I'll tell you why. We were walking through the woods, and it was, I think it was mushroom season, so I'm more interested in, you know, looking at bracket fungus on trees and, you know, looking out for any amanitas or any chicken of the woods or anything like that, you know.
Chicken of the woods, yeah.
Yeah. So that was me. I was doing that. My friend Rick, he's dead now, unfortunately. He was very much like a Trigger from Only Fools and Horses.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Yeah, that was his character. So he's leading us off here and there, and he's a very tall, gangly guy and full of energy. So we reached one part of the woods. We thought, he must be getting near to where all this malarkey's going on, you know? Must be getting near to it.
Mm.
And I said to Rick, no, look, shut up. Look over here. So what's that? I said, look at that. And there's a red ribbon tied to a twig on the end of a branch.
Okay.
So we walked towards the red ribbon tied to a branch. When I got there, something told me this is the middle of nowhere in the woods. It must be here for a reason. So I stood underneath this red ribbon and I'd done a 360 degree turn, looking around. And away from the two, you know, you get whenever you're in the woods, you get little tracks, whether the deer run through there or whether it's a path that humans walk. You know what I mean?
Yeah, worn into the ground. Yeah.
Yeah. So I looked around 360 degrees, and then away from all these paths was another red ribbon tied to a tree.
Okay.
Probably about 50, 60, 70 feet away, different direction. So I convinced Rick. I said, come on, we're following this. So we went to the next ribbon, stood there, and it wasn't in a path. It wasn't by following a pathway either. Anyway, we've done this, I think, another 3 or 4 times. So it's about 5 or 6 ribbons we followed.
Mm.
By this time, it was sort of like early autumn, end of August, September, that kind of time. So, you know, the sun's up for a while, but it was turning into evening. And this is a funny thing. All these tales we're told as kids about the local area, and anyone can go and Google it or go on to YouTube, put in Clapham Woods, you know,
Yeah.
and all these things are there. Bearing in mind that there are other tales of other places not far away of a similar ilk, you know. So we've done about 6 red ribbons, and then with that, I'm looking around 360 degrees to find the 7th or 6th ribbon or whatever it is, the next one, and then we froze.
Because?
And then we froze. And the reason we froze for was because underneath a big tree, as in all woods, you get big trees, little trees, and you get little natural clearings, don't you?
Yeah.
Well, in the clearing, underneath the big tree, well, I done another 360 degrees to see what was going on. There was a group of people, I think about a dozen, maybe 15, all wearing monks-type cowls.
Oh, good Lord. Right.
And they were all in a circle, and they were humming and doing something. So we watched them for a while, literally, I say a while, it's probably only about 10 or 20 seconds.
Yeah.
Then the humming stopped, and one of them looked at us. We just ran. We just ran, so there you go. But,
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, but that's one of the great things. That's one of the great things about Sussex is there's all manner of weird, wonderful places. There's a witch well where some, what are they called now? The taxmen. You know, against the Hawkhurst gang, the pirates, smugglers.
Oh, okay, right.
Was chucked down a well, and they were chucking stones down. It's full of wonderful, weird old folklore, you know.
Yeah, lots of it.
It.
Thanks for that. Well, we're all glad you managed to escape. It sounds like the Friends of Hecate almost had you there, perhaps. But yes.
Yeah, I'll tell you what it reminded me of. Because I think it was about 1991 or 1990 when it happened. When I saw them and the humming, I've only seen it once beforehand. Edward Woodward film, The Wicker Man.
Oh God, yes. It reminded you of that, did it?
At the time, I thought,
what a creepy film.
These are devil worshippers, and you know, believing in all things supernatural, whatever. I thought, sod this for a game of soldiers. I'm out of it.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I'd have been right behind you, gone.
Yeah. There you go. So you've been keeping anyway.
Well, thank you very much for that one, for sending us off to our beds. Thank you.
Oh, take care, Mr. Eerie.
All right.
Nice to meet you.
Cheerio, John.
Cheers,
thank you so much.
Ta-da.
Ta-da. Yes, that's the old Clapham Woods. You know, I think there was something like 4 or 5 bodies found in those woods, some mid-70s to very early 80s, I think. Lots of UFO reports, UFOs descending into the woods, you know, odd lights. There's, yes, satanic ritual suggestions with odd groups doing odd things in those woods. There's that very unusual, again, this glamour effect, or what we would refer to as the Oz factor. This eerie silence, people experience that all the time. Apparently it's believed to be a convergence point for ley lines as well, things like that. So it's one of those places that it's all right to hear about, but I probably wouldn't want to go there. Certainly not in the dark. And I would have stopped at red ribbon number 1, I think, personally. So I think he was braver than I would have been. Well, what a fascinating show we've had tonight. What a great selection of callers. What have we had? We've had Sasquatch encounters. We've had spooky places in Clapham Woods. I tell you what I would like to ask. I've just seen it there in the chat. What on earth is man with a pan, if you're still here. What is this man with a fish's head in some flooded caves somewhere? This I want to know about. This I really want to know about. Yes. I imagine it's hard for him to come and do interviews if he has a fish's head, but I would like to know about that, please. Apologies again for the lack of guest, and apologies to guest if you were listening to me out there, Andy. If you happen to be listening, apologies. I don't know what I have done that's caused this to not work. Nevertheless, we've had a jolly good show, haven't we? Tridactyl mummies, all kinds of stuff happening today. And we're about to hit the top of the hour, the 2300. And it's time for old Eerie to go to bed, I think. If you have dropped an email, I'm terribly sorry. I haven't had a chance to look into it yet. I've just opened up the emails right now. Oh, there's a couple there, which we will do next time. Just one thing here from Vincent, who said, I watched with interest your video about the Woollerton gnomes and noticed something which I think may have been overlooked. In the newspaper article shown, A Tale of the Fairies, or is it a fairy tale, it is mentioned that one of the girls involved was named Angela Elliot. The meaning of the surname Elliot is elf ruler. This possibly ties in with John Keel and Lauren Coleman's thoughts on the significance of names in non-mundane events. I hope this is of interest to you. It certainly is, Vincent. Thank you very much indeed for that, if you're listening. The next show, ladies and gents, it's going to be 2 weeks from now, so that is not the 23rd. It is the 30th. It will be the 30th of January will be our next get-together. I shall put a reminder out on the Facebook, on the YouTube community page before that. And you know, I wish I'd asked Ian when he was on the phone just now. Ian, I wish I'd asked you, did you ever go to Warminster at any point looking for UFOs there? You mentioned Wiltshire at one point. I wondered if you'd ever gone to Warminster to have a look. Thank you, everybody. It's been a pleasure once again. Take care of yourselves and each other. And, of course, keep your minds open. Look forward to a new upload from me on Tuesday, in which we will be speaking about an alien or a non-human intelligence who was killed by a rival alien being. Yes. And this happened in Glasgow. It's a heavily redacted letter that I have found that was submitted to the Ministry of Defence, and we shall be having a deep dive into that on Tuesday next week. Thank you, everybody, and good night.